do not reflect the opinions of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its shareholder, or its affiliates. The opinions of the on-air guests or participants are based upon information they consider reliable, but neither ZBC nor its shareholder nor its affiliates warrant their completeness or accuracy, and they should not be relied upon as such.
That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, my straight up family, whatever your mind conceive that you can achieve. They hear that theme song, then you know it's time for another edition of Straight Up. Time for me to bid you good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as the entire Caribbean region. My Straight Talk family in the Kittian and the Vision Diaspora, I say greetings to all on the World Wide Web, all who are logged on to the Ian Patches Liburd social media, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us, in the process, continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. My Straight Talk family, Straight Talk is as well a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded to call, the numbers are 869-465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. And for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform, which is zizstraightalk@gmail.com. That's ziz straight talk at gmail.com. I try to as well entertain your messages on Facebook whenever I do see them. Forgive me sometimes if I do miss them. My Straight Talk family, tonight I start on a solemn note in that I heard of the passing of an elder from Newtown and a good friend of mine, as Horace Watley, his right name, Cautious, as we call it. Some people call him Cautionmouth, and some refer to him as Deacon's son. A Newtowner by birth, but who lived almost all his life in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we learned that he's gone to the great beyond. We extend condolences to Gracie, his daughter. I call her Miss Danites, and Mr. Danites. We do extend our condolences, and to all those who have lost loved ones, we extend our condolences as well to the families of those who have lost loved ones. And we normally provide our COVID-19 update coming from the COVID-19 situation report. And when I see these statistics, I am really pleased when you look at the column that says confirmed cases in the last 24 hours, 0, none. And overall, we've had some 5,536 confirmed cases, and some 5,490 of those cases have recovered. There are 42 deaths, unfortunately. So the total number of active cases are just 4. And that's good news, my Straight Talk family. It's good news as well, going up, albeit slowly. It's our vaccination roll-up and roll-out. Our first doses, I call them, are now up to 83%, 82.7% to be correct, and 77.4% of the second doses. Remember, the target population, or the targeted as 70% of the population, but we are doing well, I believe, by all standards. The children between the ages of 12 and 17 years, the goal is to vaccinate, I should say, some 4,000 of those children, with up to 18.7%, 19% of first doses, and 17% of second doses. But at least we are heading in the right direction. I am sure that you will all agree that the COVID-19 pandemic, the war, is almost over. Albeit there is war in Europe, and we've heard of the continuing bombing by the Russian Federation, bombing of Ukraine. And we just pray that diplomacy would replace confrontation. We know, already feeling the fallout from that particular war, the economic fallout impact. We understand that the oil price continues to escalate. It's about $134, $35 per barrel. And what that translates into at the pump is near record level here. in the US at over $4 per gallon of gasoline. And that debate will go on for a long time as well in terms of the reserves that are not being tapped here in the US. That's for another time. Our observation review, which is a time we do some reflection and try to establish what we have accomplished the past week or past program. We examine how it has helped others, what has changed since then, what can be expected next, and what new have we learned as a people. And our first observation in review highlights or brings into focus two media releases coming from two of the major parties. The first one announces the People's Action Movement Convention slated for this coming Sunday, March the 13th, under the theme, Keeping the Promise. Very interesting theme, my Street Dog family. And the comments of one of its leaders has stimulated much debate within and beyond the borders of St. Kitts and Nevis. The other release relates to the People's Labour Party, PLP convention. On the other hand, is scheduled, according to this list that I saw, scheduled to run from March 19th to the 27th, the theme to be advised. Meantime, the leader of the PLP and Prime Minister gave some reflection and testified. He testified that in all that's going on, our Redeemer still lives.
I want to say I am encouraged by the word, I am encouraged by the support, and I continue to find my peace by going through the many opportunities I've had, which I've now appreciate more, of going to almost every Sunday school, and in Tabernacle we had so many, from Baptist to Brother Brown to Pentecost and all those things, and be able now to unravel what those golden texts which we had to say really meant for our lives. And so I know that my Redeemer lives.
Yes, our Redeemer lives. We are reminded, my Street Dog family. And the final observation in review for tonight also brings into focus yet another twist in the confrontation between an elected member of the Team Unity Cabinet and the police. Much to the surprise of the Federation's police force has been accused of being a politically orchestrated organization. But Straight Talk has received reliable information coming from an apparent search of the court records that the matter in relation to this elected member of parliament is set for trial on Monday, the 25th of April. Straight Talk is also currently investigating the veracity of the information to which summonses were issued last week, Thursday, the 3rd of March. But Straight Talk will keep you posted, my Straight Talk family. One can only glean from the comments of the member of government or member of parliament that there is a stench of hidden motives, and the attendant mistrust is strong. Sadly, though, no one will divulge what the real issues are, how, and when these issues emanated, and or what is so contentious about them. However, it is plain to see that there is a power play of some kind that is occurring. Unfortunately, my straight dog family, this stench of distrust may have already caused irreparable damage to the team unity concept, and by extension, much more damage to our fledgling democracy, our federation that we pledge to bind together with a common destiny. My straight dog family, I make a plea tonight to all politicians in my country, especially those in government. I beg them all not to lose sight of who they are working for. I remind them in the process that they are working for the people. Our history of unity in St. Kitts Nevis should have taught us by now that people are all naturally inclined to think selfishly of their own well-being first and foremost, even if it is to the detriment, I should say, of those around them. To those people, I recommend that you read this book written by T.F. Hodge, entitled From Within I Rise, that speaks to spiritual triumph over death and conscious encounters with the divine presence. Hodge writes, and I quote, "The first law of nature is self-preservation. Cut off that which may harm you, but if it is worth preserving and is meaningful, nourish it and have no regrets." Ultimately, this is true living and love of self from within. Hodge is described as a man of godly expression who witnessed, who experienced, and survived the harshness of the underworld while growing up in the inner city of Los Angeles. It is a true story of triumph over death and conscious encounters with the divine presence. What seemed to have unfolded, or perhaps I should say what seems to be unfolding before our very eyes in St. Kitts Nevis, my people, is the first law of nature, self-preservation. And this might cause or do us serious harm trying to escape. But in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 25, we are warned as a people that whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For 5 of the past 7 years, I served as a member of cabinet in the team unity government. And I confess that at times it was extremely difficult for me to call a spade, because I would be accused of mashing up unity. Nonetheless, I will confess that when it comes to the leadership of Team Unity, for 5 years, I saw up close Tim Harris and his cabinet of 2 women and 6 other men. However, for the last 2 years, I have been looking at him from a distance with now 7 other men and 3 women. But I will still conclude today that no one in the past or present cabinet could lead Team Unity as Prime Minister Harris continues to do. Prime Minister Harris did well. He did well to keep a collected bunch of elected men, or a collective, I should say, of elected men from 3 distinctly different political parties, and latterly 1 elected woman. But he did extremely well to keep this group in a state of oneness. And that is the essence of unity. It is a state of being one. Harris recently confessed that in the process of leading this collective over the last 7 years, at times, to quote him, he felt he was in the lion's den. My straight up family.
There are in fact times when I feel as a leader of the country that I am in the lion's den too.
Yes.
So I understand Daniel's message.
Yes.
My God,
Yes.
sent an angel, shut the mouths of the hungry lions, and they did not hurt me. That is why sometimes in all of the weary, the ups and downs, the excitement, I am reminded, please be still. Please be still on this occasion, because you have to have faith in the people. And the people know that you are doing a good job. Even with the limits of humanity, you're doing a good job for the people. And so I ask that you continue to pray for me, for my government, for my country, our government, our country, our leadership, in the church, in the private sector, everywhere they are leaders. So that we could all heed the message to do good. Do good even in the face of evil. We are in a secular world, a sinful world. And so always there will be that struggle for good over evil, right over wrong. But we need something internal to help us find the anchor. The anchor holds because for me, in difficult times in particular, what has kept me has been the anchor.
Yes, the anchor holds my straight up family. Even if you feel you're in the lion's den. You have always heard me say that my strongest weak point is mathematics. But I have learned enough to say tonight that unity is simply a synonym for the number 1. Yes, unity and 1 means exactly the same. And the number 1 represents a single entity. And that is how I see unity. I would even add that unity is a condition of harmony, accord. I have always likened Team Unity to a body. Just think about your own body, and I'm sure that you would agree that for your body to be healthy, all of your body parts must work together. Yes, a healthy body works together. It nourishes and edifies itself. In Holy Scripture, God likens the example of what makes a healthy body to that which makes a healthy church. And we can find the analogy of what makes a healthy body in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12, I think it is, which reads, and I quote, "For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also in Christ." The good book also tells us that God don't love division. The book tells us that God hates it when there is division and strife amongst the brethren. That is why he gives us that unifying prescription in the book of Psalms 133, to be exact. "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And the people asked for a united group. It did not come from the political leaders. It came from the people.
Over the two polls that we did, one of the issues we looked at was how people felt about a group of politicians who might become united. What was clear from the outset was that there was a notion that unity was important to contest an election against the incumbent. But what is important is that regardless of where they come from, whether it's CCM or Labour or New Labour or whatever the key point is, you can call it what you will. What came out was that there was a feeling that a united group would be important.
Yes, that's what the people asked for, and that's what the people got. In conclusion, my Straight Dog family, I submit to all of you that preservation is not about self. Preservation is about people, our stories and connections to each other, our shared past and sense of place are all embodied in unity in our homes, at work, at play. As a people, we must also remain mindful of the irreplaceable value of unity and what it has brought us, or what it has brought into our daily lives. We must have learned over the last 7 years that we all have a lot of things in common. But there's one question, and only one, I must ask the Federation tonight, my people, that is, where do we go from here as a country? I ask you this question because you are the ones, my people, who created unity. You are the ones who said in 2015 that the dominant party system is dead, and the majority of the people decided that it was time to put country above self. It was time to put country above party. It was time to put country above politics. And the people decided that country should be number one. That's my story tonight, my family, and I am not going to change it. I'll open the lines and hear from you, my Straight Dog family. The numbers are 869-465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. I always must implore you when I open the lines, and I'll do so in a couple of seconds. Respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. let us ensure that the things that we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. You have seen what is happening around us. And I ask you to tell me, where do we go from here as a country? That's all I'm asking tonight. I'm going to hear from you. I'm going to go to the lines. It's 27 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. The lines are open, and I say good night to my first caller. You're live.
Good night to one and all, home and abroad. I was on time to hear the topic that is on the table. Unity. That word, I approve everything you said. But how many people are living to that anticipation, that expectation? UNITY. Then we may add the dignity that all of us have inside. Unity cannot go without dignity. Dignity cannot go without unity. Well, thank you for that topic. Anyway, just like you call, where do we go from here? We should unite, and we should strive for the things that cause us to unite, cause us to be one. The Spanish say uno, and I understand that. So I am calling for unity, and we should have the rule of unity. Now, I am calling upon all who do not understand unity and those who are divide the country. Dividing the country, they are claiming they are unity, they are embracing unity, but they are not. And if you know you are not, to whom it may concern, I ask you to embrace that meaningful word. So wonderful. The other thing is, I had some concern of issues that should be taken care of in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in respect to the infrastructure, the education, the health, and so on. Well, thanks, Mr. Harris, for having me and listening to my concern about other topics apart from that I mentioned. We had a good cooperative understanding meeting, one-on-one, and I must say thank him for that. I give jacket, and nothing else but his jacket. So let me make understanding too. The Prime Minister is a good understanding person, and I was glad that we had a great understanding in respect to a one-on-one meeting. So he is not what everybody will think he is. There are too much misinformation, and when I face someone, I will be the judge in respect to that. He's not all that bad that people said. He is not a perfectionist to make everything right for one. Yes, there must be critique, criticize, and opposition to make any opposition stronger. I understand who he is. I ask for people to know their surrounding, know your Prime Minister. And I must say, I was not paid to make my honest comment. I am fully sane of my comment, and I ask people, base your argument on facts So when you make an argument, you are strong and not fiction. So
Okay.
I thank him for having me, and I think everyone who are listening, they must have their facts finding on facts. I will come back again and I will yield to the next caller. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me. Brother Patches, good night.
Good night, my brother. Thank you for your intervention. We go straight back to the lines. Where do we go from here? I'm asking. Caller, you live.
Good evening, Honorable Patches Liburd. My heart and my sympathy goes out to Cassius and his family, his ex-wife and his real wife, and also his kids and son, and all who belongs in his family. And if you know Cassius, everybody know he was a good man. Right. Patches made a statement where we go from here. I don't know where they were going. I know God put unity together and put the Honorable Timothy Harris as the leader of the Unity Party. And who want to stir up because of some people making false allegations towards the Prime Minister and the cabinet and different things like that, and they want to stir it and go where they want to go. My mother always say a lot of people that think the grass green on the other side, but when they reach over there is no grass, it's dirt. So who want to pull out, who want to pull in, and who want to go? They have the freedom to go. Nobody's holding them, and nobody gonna stop them from going nowhere. It's a shame to see for 7 years we had something going good, and we got 2 more, 3 more years to go, and we arguing about who gonna be the next Prime Minister. It's not a matter who gonna be the next Prime Minister, you know. It's who could run the ship. Because that's where you have a captain, a mate, chief mate, bosun, and cook. So everybody can be the captain. And they will already pick a captain. And if they know they never want him, they should leave him where he is. Because if they never come and harass him and beg him to come with them, they want to be down Church Street today. They could be where they was in the wilderness. So we just got life will go on. Because my Honorable Prime Minister could fall dead tomorrow or tonight. Life will still have to go down. But we, the voters, have seen what this man has done. And we have to pick up the pieces and move on and restore his dignity and equality, what he had for this federation. So, Patches, I can yield to some other people and let them come and give their vision and the views about things. And stop the Ramgo DJ from prosecuting my Prime Minister, what people voted for. And he alone voted for it. A lot of people voted for it. And how you want to interrupt other people who put their life and their livelihood on the line to have unity, and you out there passing propaganda between St. Kitts Nevis about the Prime Minister and his cabinet, and then you're picking some over some. God neither sleep nor slumber. He does watch on. And when he act, people to say, Lord, why me? God bless you, Patsy. I will be back.
God bless you as well, dear brother, the People's King. And I ask you where we go from here. You said that we should unite, strive for the things that cause us to unite. You reminded us that God put unity together. Some people say it was divine intervention. At 17 before 9, we go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Dr. Ian Patrick Liburd.
Good evening, my brother.
Yes, how you doing? Good?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, I'm peaceful too, brother. I'm peaceful. God is keeping me alive, so I'm peaceful. I want to say good evening to two good friends I have in the North Pole of St. Kitts. They know who they are. And I also want to send my condolences to the family of taximan Mr. Cautious. He was one of my best friends in St. Thomas. But I have a story to tell you, but not tonight because I don't have the time for that. But I'll tell you more about that. So my condolences goes out to them. Now, Patches, where do we go from here? According to the Bible says the ants are a people. And if the Bible could look at those little small things that pinch and tear and say that the ants are a people, you know what that means? We human beings who got 2 foot, not the 2 foot with the bed on the back, we should look at the ants and learn from them. Because all the ants are in one accord when you see them walking. No ants linemen, no running ants in the crowd of sugar ants. All sugar ants stay together, all running ants stay together. If a running ants go between the crowd, he will be food for them ants. And I can't see why big people, sensible people, bright people, academically educated people gonna act like how human does act. Well, the first caller and Calypso King Rock, they have said it just how it's supposed to be said tonight here. And I will say amen to those two guys. Amen. Now, 7 years ago, a group of persons come together and they decide, well, the only way this country could run better than how it was running, take it away from the IMF and give back the sugar workers them all the money that they deserve, that they were robbed of. And let's raise the surplus of the country's economy. And they decide, well, okay, we will join together. We have to take 3 angles to make one. We went to Nevis, we get CCM. We come down here, we get PAM and PLP. 3 of them come together. And they all decided who they will select to be the leader. And they all selected Dr. Timothy Harris for a lot of reasons. Well, okay, fine. The country going good under the captain of Dr. Timothy Harris. And all of a sudden, you're going to tell me that the man at the stern, the engineer, and the one on the bow, all of them want to go up in the wheel room where the captain is and take over the wheel, and the ship is going good? You can't work so you one captain and then you have a mate. And if they think all those who are trying to make a mischief and mash up this unity party, I don't tell them already, I ain't gonna sit idle boy and see anybody doing any wrong things to this unity party here that run in this country and hush. I don't care. I could be sitting on your table eating food, did you? And you'd say wrong things, I will stop you up. The Bible says, let everything be done decently and in order. If animals could have talked, they would have given we human beings some blows the way we behaving. And animals behave the way they're behaving because their senses are not used like ours. They walk by instincts. And we walk by senses. So I am calling on them, all those who are on the ship, and want to turn the oar the different way and oar the ship stone-wise. Stop it. A big people are you be. The brother are you behave like that. The enemy smiling and he getting strength. And the enemy goes to see that tell you so. Take it easy. What for you, what ain't for you. Take time to find Hans belly. Wait a while. It's only one person could steer the ship at a time. Lady Carla said, it is good to critique, but the critique must be for better, not for worse, and not for grudge and hatred. And let me tell you how it is, a lot of people out there who are not in this cabinet, they are pumping ignorance in a lot of politician head. And I better tell them, stay away, go ahead. You're going to mash up this here. We are going good, and when you don't take bread out my mouth, you can't even give me pinchy, not crackers. But I got something else to say too. Let me tell them this before I go. I am warning all politicians, whether you lose or win, be careful with the people who come close to you all. Remember what Delilah did to Samson? The big army of the Philistines could not conquer one man. And they send a woman in there and they tell her, go in there and give him a smile, but that smile is not genuine or sincere. And when he say anything to you and you don't like it, smile still. Well, we have a lot of people around, politicians just coming around just to see what they could get. When they see a politician, they turn the palm of the hand up to the sky. That means, I vote for you, I want something. That is not the way. But I'll come back. When I come back with second do, I'm going to finish that. Let me move out the way, let somebody get a chance. Thank you for giving me this time so long, Patrice. God bless. Who God bless? Not a man curse. If God put the Prime Minister there to lead the party, and he's doing well, and they're going to take it easy. Because what goes around comes around. And when God see that people are doing destructive things, when they're not supposed to be doing it, he do what he has to do. Thank you, Patrice. I'll be back.
Thank you very much. Just a little reminder, our first three callers set the bar very high, but set it long as well. So let's keep our eyes on the time and let's be a little more reasonable. We like to say 2.5, 3 minutes. I see you're setting the bar at 5 minutes. Notwithstanding that, if you're just joining me, I also submitted to everyone that preservation is not about self. Preservation is about people. Our stories and our connections to each other, our shared past and sense of place are all embodied in unity in our homes, at work, and at play. Thank you for holding caller. You are live. I'm asking, where do we go from here? You're live.
Ian Patches, Liburd. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Hello? Mr.
Yes,
Liburd,
you're live,
good
sir.
evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I am also peaceful. What nonsense. I woke up on Saturday morning, there was a dwarf on the TV. Did nothing to the police but apologized to the police. And then he had the nerve to say, people in the party and in the cabinet trying to destroy him. That is, they pay people to vote against you. Who are they trying to fool? What goes around comes around. All of them studying in this. Mr. Liburd, good night, and keep smiling, because all chickens will come home to roost. Good night, sir.
Good night, my dear brother. Thanks for your intervention. Short and to the point. Let's go back to the lines. Call your live.
Mr. Patches.
My dear
Good night,
brother.
Mr. Patches.
Good night, the Bible man.
Well, if Bible fulfill, listen here. In Psalm 75, and a lot of people be, I am going to finish now. I ain't stopping on the phone too long. Psalm 75. Promotion neither come from the east, nor the west, nor the south. Listen here, Mr. Patrick. I listen to two people today on a station. And those two people, when you hear them talk, you could will, because I'm a born again believer, I could know where they're coming from. They're putting people in front just for people to vote. When God rejects a man, there is no way he coming back. And people forget, Mr. Patrick, it is God have the Lord say. Timothy did not go in there by himself alone, you know. It's God put him in there. And when we hear people talking the muck, what a man saw, and that he can reap, Mr. Patrick. Sorry for them there. Let us go ahead. Proverbs chapter 6. God said, there are 7 things, there are 6 things I do hate. The 7 is abomination unto the Lord. And when they start to make confusion in the cabinet and believe to themselves they won't get through, let us go ahead. And the last thing I have to say tonight, people must understand that God don't play no. God will tell Paul, you're kicking against the brick. And why these people, I listen, when you break up something, let's say you're going back down because you can't do one blessed thing. And God had to raise up a man in time. God had to send you on your way. And so, people must understand, when you go break up something what being put by God, you're in serious trouble. God will tell our prophet they're weighing the balance in and for what is. Mr. Patton, have a pleasant night and see you.
Thank you, the Bible man. This message reads, "Oh, Mac Mahon, just shut up. Sean and Mrs. Henry are right. You, Mac Mahon, have no moral authority to question and impugn anybody's integrity when yours sink high to the sky. Your feeble excuse about you're not on the ballot running for office is no justification for your impropriety and bad behavior while you were a civil servant, collecting 2 payments for 1 job. That is fraud and corrupt practices on your part. You ought to be ashamed of yourself and really every day giving the false impression that you are such an impeccable character, when in your heart of hearts, fully well know that you are a good for nothing," reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. Thank you for calling. Thank you for holding. Caller, you're live. It's 4 before 9. Yes, caller. Yes, caller. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Let's take this other caller. Caller, you are live.
Patrick, good night.
Good night, Mr. Politics.
And Patrick, first, I always want to make my statement and make my contribution towards straight talk. And first, I always open up prayer with the Lord. I want to thank God for the Federation of St. Mary. Thank God for life. Thank God for sparing me and to keeping me alive and awake to see what's going on in my federation. Thank God for Team Unity, because Team Unity has made me what I be politically. I was politically tangled up and blind.
and could not sleep better because a party was in party line. But Patches, thank God that we see the light of some people and see the difference between human being and whatsoever Patches, because we elect 2015 a unity government, and that government was going good under the leadership of Dr. Harris, and they did so well up to 2020 when the election called. They convinced went in again and win the election. And because of what happened in Newton, maybe because they only have one seat, and maybe because of what happened in Newton, with the tying up or whatever they do. But Patches, we know what human being is all about. And it's so disappointing to see that people in unity who we elect then turn the back on the people. Patches, I don't think it is right. And I believe that the people have got a message to send. Anytime this unity break up, the people will get a message to send. Because 2015, nobody went to vote for PAM. Nobody went to vote for PLP. Nobody went to vote for Labour. People went to vote for unity government, even in Nevis too. People went to vote for unity, and that's how unity comes. Because can't work a call like what was going on under the farmer administration and the farmer leader, the people them call for unity. And I believe that them who in cabinet with the prime minister will turn the back on team unity. I believe that the people and the electorate will get a message to send. Because only unity could survive, I believe, under the leadership of Dr. Harris, who is doing so well to the Federation of St. Leaders. And if he enjoys it, I believe that he can do it by himself in an individual political party. And his party is PLP. His PLP is Dr. Harris. What caused even PAM, who so strong to win this candidate to win this Patches, is that trying to cause it, the popularity demand. And I don't believe that they're going to turn ungrateful and turn the back on the people from the team unity. Patches, back up a wonderful because
Thank you very much, my straight dog family. I made a plea earlier tonight to all politicians, especially those in government. I beg them not to lose sight of who they are working for. I remind them in the process that they are working for the people. At 9:01, caller, I thank you for holding your life.
Good evening, everybody out there in Radioland. And good evening, Servant Ambassador Ian Patches Liburd. How are you tonight?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself? Are you there, caller?
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
My spirit tonight is experiencing some ambivalence. But I first would like to greet you with the warmest and most sincere sentiments, of which this heart of mine is capable. Driven by history and experience that conclusively proved to me that you are indeed worthy. Let the entire world know. I won't be too long tonight, I promise, but I would just say that these are interesting times indeed. And this is but the tip of the iceberg. Certainly you must know. It will, I promise you folks, get worse. I warned you before, not too long ago, didn't I? That the rot has gone to the bone and amputation is prescribed. You must have thought I was faking. Now I listened to you play a clip of a celebrated pollster who is right more often than not, after which you stated, relative to what the people desired, unity. That's what they asked for, and that's what they got. I'm quoting you almost verbatim. But what you omitted to say, though, Mr. Ambassador, is that what we had in 2015 is most decidedly not what we presently have. Back then, we held one head. It's an expression all of us could well understand, with each party keenly aware that political victory depended upon uniformity of purpose. What a role you played then and continue to play right now. Hope you don't end up on the wrong side of history as I close. Because as you are too wise not to know that the neural connections of the brain, the command center, this is the government of our beloved Federation, has been compromised. And the house divided against itself must, I repeat, must fall. Jesus cannot lie. And guess what? Poor people, the commoners, always invariably suffer the most from such catastrophes. It is our most solemn duty today, this minute, to rise up and divest ourselves of powermongers who would be king next, imposters, those who have deviated from the ideals, and autocrats. Nobody could talk to them in favor of a new candidate, unencumbered by political baggage, if not Dr. Truth. Then who, a word to the wise, they say, is enough. And that's where we go from here. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for allowing me to speak my truth in its entirety, for now at least. My love for you is undiminished. Good evening, folks.
Good evening, my dear brother Edna. I can only wish you the reciprocal, my brother. Our history of unity in St. Kitts Nevis would have taught us by now. And I believe we ought to know that preservation is about people. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. You're live. You're live. Yes, caller. Yes, caller. It's 9:07. I take this call. You're live. You're live.
Call.
Good night.
Yes, caller. Good night, my dear.
Good night, my dear beloved brother. Can you hear me?
How art thou? Oh, yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. My sister.
Yes. Yes. I cannot stay quiet. I just cannot stay quiet. I cannot stay quiet. No. In 2015, 2015, our country was in a deep, dark dungeon. National bet, medicinal Tanya. No, people on the street bawling, they're begging. Even the candidates that from unity was happy that we had Dr. Timothy Harris. No, now that we have him, and he has been doing so much. No government in St. Kitts. No government in the Caribbean. None pay double salary in this pandemic. He look after the workers who had been laid off from the work. He come up people who have Alzheimer's in St. Kitts. They have Alzheimer's in St. Kitts? No, the people in St. Kitts, the work, the government workers, they get paid every week. Country shut down. You go home with your salary. You go home with your wage. Bring in doctors from Cuba to help us. And the list goes on. The list goes on. This, you ask how, where we going from here? But we ain't going back, no. We're going forward. We going forward. Dr. Timothy Harris, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, is Prime Minister. I'm going to give you a little history. I ain't going to tell them. When Dr. Simmons was in power, everybody was happy. He put hundreds of dollars in people's pocket. And when they get the hundreds of dollars in the pocket and the money going to flow, they say they want change. They take on Douglas, and Douglas nearly kill us with death. Knocked out. But if Dr. Douglas wants Timothy Harris, he wants Timothy Harris. Dr. Douglas needs Timothy Harris. Because no, only Prime Minister in the world I could ever hear table in Parliament that a Prime Minister must have to home. Marcella, Douglas, and Conway say no, let Timothy Harris stop. So they don't vote against it. They want him there. Douglas and Marcella, they want him there. The people are not nice for. I love my Prime Minister. And I just can't stay quiet. Anyway, I'll go on till the next time. But that is my little piece. The country running good.
Thank you very much. That's my sister from another mother. And I understand you. Believe it or not, we're born the same day, same year. So we cannot stay quiet. I understand what you're saying. It's 9:12. Let us go straight back to life. Where are we going from here? We're going forward, it is said. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller? Yes, caller. 9:12.
Greetings, Mr. Patches. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm very, very, very good, man. And it's interested to see you again put such a juicy topic on the floor. Education by nature is gifted to think freely, but in order that that free thought should lead him to the goal of liberty and independence, his way of thinking must be shaped by the process of education. And you does that. You bring topics to the floor. Where do we go from here? Very brilliant question. We cannot doubt ourselves, Mr. Patches. Well, we've been 39 years independence. If my mathematics is right, 1983 to now. And within the majority of those years, we being always ruled by party politics. And within the 7 years of the 39, don't we see a difference? So if we see a difference, we must say we have a template to go forward. We are living in spiritual times. You can watch how the world is going. We are living in spiritual times. And to live in spiritual times, you must unite. You talk about self-preservation. Unity is I. Self-preservation, your country. You cannot govern a people without a country. So you must preserve the country. So to preserve the country, you must preserve the country on principles, on morality. And if the people decided to accept the divine intervention that God gave to them, is who is elected got to be able to mature themselves, to put themselves in the equation of unity. They have to know to create ideas. They got to resist themselves from this party elitists that they've been in all the years and do what the people want them to do. Unite. If you've been doing something over the past 7 years and you see it working, if you go back, you're going to be in danger. You must be in danger. Hey, Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. We know to go back, it's always problems. And if we're going forward and we see how the world going, because we got to shape the country to how the world going, there's a war going on out there. We got to prepare ourselves. I was glad to hear the Prime Minister on a clip where you were talking about Sunday school. Every adult should be able to talk about a Sunday school experience. And the leaders should always be able to read the Bible and accept the word, what the Bible said, because look at it. You read the Bible million years ago, you read it forward, the word is the same. So it's about righteousness. Is mankind got to find a way to find the way living in righteousness. And if over the past 7 years, because of what we've been doing, we're feeling the blessings of the country. Look how much rain we're getting. It's when we praise God, He bless us. So if we're trying to live good amongst each other, why break it up? Mr. Patches, we have a long way to go. We're in 50 years of independence yet. So some of the guys in here in charge of the elitist image of the political self to be down low, be grounded. His policies, Mr. Patches, if the policies is there to empower the masses of people, why go against that? So who are you going to try to please? Certain persons who close your party to big up? No, you got to do the policies empowering the people. You got to stick to that. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong and stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you, my dear brother. God bless you as well. Always welcome your intervention. And to remind us that we do have a template, a unity template, and we better use it or else. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? You could hear me?
Yes, you're live. Turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
I don't turn it down. Good night,
Thank
how are you?
I want the whole world to hear you.
Yes, good night, how are you?
I am peaceful.
Well, they does hear me.
Good night.
They're always meeting me and telling me whether they're bad or they're good. Anyway, all your callers tonight, it's very good, and they're on the ball, the real ball, right? But when others come in, know them, because they're going on other program to want to bring down the Prime Minister, and he's doing good. He's doing very good. Harris again, good night. Culture, good night.
Good night sounds like Alice in Wonderland. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. It's 18 past 9.
Patches. Patches.
Yes.
This is the Major.
Yes, sir.
Good night. Look,
Good night, Major.
yes, man. Happy to hear your voice. Patches, I want to tell you something. I did a course in effective communication, and I think I tell you about that a long time. What I know about effective communication, Patches, it is not all feelings are pleasant. There are times when you experience pain, frustration, and even anger. Surely you can share your feelings and identify your needs. Don't blame other persons for their feelings. What I am saying is that I tell you, some of the people them talking, they're talking, but they stay too long. And they got other people, I believe, who want to make a contribution. To listen to them is not a one-way street. I tell you, hire me really to be your coordinator. Why are you going to do that?
Soon, Major, soon.
In this day, you see how the cat going? You see how the cat going, you know? And we have to communicate with people. Let me hear other people's opinion, man. They stay and chatting. Time for that now.
Are you there, caller?
You heard me?
Yes, you're dropping out just now.
Huh?
You were just dropping out.
Oh, I was dropping out? Okay, well, I'll just tell you that the communication is important, man. And let everybody say what happened. Killing got two sides. And let me listen, man. Some of them saying the same thing all the time.
Okay. I've got you, Major. I'm a little bit at variance because the shilling has three sides. But we learned about two. We never spoke of the circumferential side. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Minister Liburd.
Good evening, sir.
And good evening to the audience right across the planet. And good evening to everyone listening. Let's say keep the promise. That's what I say, Mr. Minister. Well, what a thing. Well, when you say keep the promise, I remember Mr. Stefan saying you're going to hold it off to Tom, but yeah, it's still more than to Tom. So, that alone wasn't keeping the promise. You understand? You have to do it because of the situation in terms of the party. And it was understandable too. Just like how this situation is right now, we have no leadership to match the leadership that the country has right now. And everybody could see clearly that we have no leadership to match Timothy Harris' leadership. And if anybody want to be the next Prime Minister, it will only be one person. It will only be one person. So, we're going to see what happens from there, honestly speaking, because some people are going to talk. They have convention coming up. And when they talk, they might sound like they like the opposition leader, like from 2014 or 2013. So we got to wait and see what is being said, because a lot of things being said, like people in opposition towards the Prime Minister. Just like how they're accusing people of being opposition to them in government. So we will wait and see. But at the same time, we have a good Prime Minister, and we think we can be able to hold on to the situation. You know. Enjoy your night, and you take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your input, my dear brother. It's 8:23. If you just joined us, my Straight Talk family, we looked at unity. And I made a plea to all politicians in my country, especially those in government. I beg them all not to lose sight of who they are working for. I reminded them in the process that they are working for the people. Our history in unity or of unity in St. Kitts must have taught us by now that people are all naturally inclined to think selfishly of their own well-being first and foremost, even if it is to the detriment of those around them. To those people, I recommend that they read the book written by T.F. Hodge, From Within I Rise, that speaks to the spiritual triumph over death and conscious encounters with the divine presence. Hodge writes, and I quote, "The first law of nature is self-preservation. Cut off that which may harm you, but if it is worth preserving and is meaningful, nourish it and have no regrets. Ultimately, this is true living and love of self from within." Where do we go from here? Is a question I also ask. I'm hearing from you, my Straight Talk family. Thank you for holding. At 9:25, you're live.
Patrick David, I am Manila. Patrick, you know what for the People's Action Movement? What for them from this unity farm and Dr. Harris did the Prime Ministership? The opposition out there saying, "Pam week, Pam week, Pam week, Pam week." Pam get 12 seats. How the week? They're in government, how the week? And they let that fool them and lie about the panel them come out from the unity, start to start on a negative thing. Mr. Powerman come on and say the same thing. Pam week, Pam week, Pam week. Oh, we shan't go, we shan't go this and we shan't go that. When they then form alliance as a unity alliance, the Prime Minister, they went in the house and the table is home in Parliament. The opposition in the Senate. And the Prime Minister, right now the Prime Minister not saying for 4 terms or whatsoever. It's propaganda and politics and power, money and power got the leaders upon one and some of the executive going there, like a first thing on the truth. You understand? They must understand the poor people are the masses of this country, and the poor people don't go vote to them. No who the executive member and all them are going to vote. You understand? It's the poor people, the other people, they got the Harris out. Here in the cabinet. They was getting here and doing a good job. Instead of the negative thing come out and a cabinet and all kind of thing here and give news to the opposition and give news to lie about stuff and all these things. Or hear all these things. But you see, it's money and power that a lot of them. But what? Because tell us, one of these days, what are we going to be doing with that party? What are we going with? So that only show that it's to the opposition that better we could show. Because nobody in government supposed to lose easy and nobody in government could be weak. All the time got to do, they got what seat? 12 seats in government. They do what they got to do in the constituency, they walk around the people and do what they got to do the people. But when you go in a different village or in the constituency, you hear people say they vote to unity. Me don't vote in a family. Me vote to unity. Me want unity. Me just tell me that and me tell me together. These are the things people say. Patrick, you have a wonderful night and God bless the federation of this country of St. Nevis. And what is to be will be, because I know my background, and anything I know what I don't know ever do when election come up. That is again, God bless the federation again.
God bless you, my dear brother. That answers the question, where do we go from here? We gonna vote unity. That's what the people continue to say. At 28 past 9 o'clock, caller, you're live.
Yes, namesake.
Yes, namesake, how art thou?
Yes, good night and greetings to you, my brother. I just want to say happy birthday to Miss Sylvain Henry, and I hope that she will live to see a much more life and enjoy the best of life. I just want to say congratulations to her, reaching her milestone of 74. I hope to God that I will reach that much. Well, you know, Patrick, what I want to say tonight, Patrick, I'm calling upon the traffic department to do something for the bus terminal on the east side, from here up to as far as Parsons. We are not getting the representation that we need up here. After 4 o'clock at afternoon, we suffer in the bus terminal that were built for the East Line bus service. So we need some attention over here. No police, nobody to direct nothing. So sometimes we are in here waiting for passengers to come, and buses are passing up the road and picking up passengers that are coming this way. And it's not fair. We say fairness for all, so we should get our fair share. I'm right here in the line right now, and the places are dry because buses are keep passing up and picking up passengers that we should be getting to go to Molyneux and to Saddlers. Okay, but I just want to say to you, we are doing a good job, but we got to make sure that every man, woman, and child is taken care of, because we say fair share for all, and I believe in that, and I'm a strong believer of unity. Make sure that we look after the people of this country, especially the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, who supported unity to come into being and to take us out from the hands of Pharaoh, because the country is doing well. Right now we are seeing the ships coming, and I think that people, the taxi drivers and the vendors should be happy and give thanks that things are happening now, that the country is booming again, and we can enjoy the fruits of unity. May God bless you as we continue to struggle together to make sure that the people of Nevis live, St. Kitts and Nevis live a better, productive, and fruitful life. May God bless you. Have a good night.
God bless you as well, my namesake. And you've made calls so many times about the East Bus Line Terminal and the requirement of traffic police and to guide the traffic in that area. And sometimes, at least the last time in St. Kitts, I saw about 4 or 5 police officers down at the West Bus Line Terminal. Why not? Even 2 or 3, or split that in 2. 3 at East Bus Line Terminal and the other 2 at the West. Or rotate them. Do something about that. But thank you for your input. Let's go back to the lines at 29 before 10.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Patrick. Yes.
Good evening, my dear.
Prime Minister, Honorable Simmons, he wasn't looking for the because the money was there at the time. But this is money time now, so everybody been greedy around the money and leaving the poor people to suffer. Poor people are always making noise about politics. But the rich people, they sit relax and email, and then they get all the money. What we're making now, unity, yeah, they sit down quiet and they got all the money, because I hear 44 million Nevis get, and Nevis said they want more money, and that's because that's not what they voted for. So who is spam? Spam, and they say, unity, they spam. So everybody got a name. Labor, spam, unity, CCM, and all that deal. So we are the smart people making the most noise, and we ain't getting no to Pacifica. I didn't want to work for my daughter, and
Take care. My neighbor friend, as I would call her, she understands what I mean. We pass labor, we pass PLP, we pass PAM, we pass CCM, we pass NRP, we pass no PP. We're talking unity. That's what everybody's saying. 27 before 10. Call your line.
Hello.
Let's go. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Hi, Patrice. Good night.
Good night, my dear.
Yeah. They keep talking about the 3 term. The prime minister up to now, the prime minister didn't ask about no 3 term. You know, as this lady that called a few ago, Labour didn't want no 2 term because they didn't vote for it. But guess what? Now Jew want 2 term because Jew tell yourself if Timothy running again, they have a hard time. But if Timothy ain't run again, they don't have a hard time. They don't have to work hard because nobody could match up with them. Only Timothy, they're afraid of Timothy, and that's what happened. They keep talking about 2 term, 3 term, or whatever. The country running good. What is the problem? We're going forward. What is the problem? Harris again and again and again, whether they like it, yes or not. Too bad. Because Joe want Timothy to do 2 term because, after Timothy do 2 term, there's nobody else can match up with him. That's my piece.
Well said, my dear. The country is running good. 26 before 10. Let's go back to the lines. Where do we go from here? Caller, you're live.
This is where we go from here. You're going to tell me, Dr. How you take up this country here with what you call a global debt of $3 billion to IMF. And he did not go back to IMF to borrow none. He pay off IMF how he can because he knows how to handle money. And the man has been doing good until now. How many double salary did he don't give? 4. And in this pandemic situation where everybody cutting back and short paying people and cannot pay their workers on time and borrow from IMF, and Dr. Harris pull us through these rough waters with leadership skills, and he give to people who never even pay no money into Social Security. He helped the busmen them, he helped the taximen them, he helped everybody. Good God, what you want? What they want? Why they don't leave the man alone? The man is doing good. All you got to do, help him, fertilize the man, and let him move on. Give him good fertilizer, productive fertilizer, let him move on. My part is only because we on this topic tonight, because I got some blows to chop on some people who using these politicians for want, but they ain't for them. They ain't for them. One of them went over BlackRock telling people they have to pay $500 to get a house next when them house done build. And share working for the government. When the people them follow the farm, she take them and say that the farm them have to go up in the Prime Minister house. All them is bad names they give in the Prime Minister. But anyway, see you Thursday, God willing. Guys, it's a long story. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Culture. I go straight back to the lines at 24 before 10. Call your line.
Hello, Patrick.
My dear brother, jump down.
How are you? My Patrick,
peaceful.
we don't
Yourself?
get these leadership once every 30 and 40, 50 years. You understand? I was a big player in unity. And I'm not going to let nobody mash up this unity. All who playing in the hole and trying to fight against it, we never seen them on the road, A very few of them was running and hiding. And we ain't going to mash up this thing here. This thing can't mash up. The people on the right, who, according to politics, that was the line. Come weak. And they really got come where they want them right now. They really got come where they want them now. You got them? But let me show you something in a patches. Me ain't going against Dr. Harris and Pam. Have got to understand. They got to strong in unity. They have to strong. The country, the people will decide this. The people want unity. The country want unity. This is not time for pulling and pulling and pulling. This is time to struggle whenever. Work with the leader. You got 3 years. Where the pulling is all about. You got some greedy people in town, you know. Some greedy people in town. This is Jam now here talking matches. A man went against the guy. The guy is doing a great work for the people. And I endorse that. I endorse that. Have a good night. This is Jam now talking here.
Have a good night, my dear brother Jam Down. We go straight back to the lines. The people want unity. Call your line.
Good evening, all Reverend Patches again. Now, the way I see what's going on, this is a great topic you bring tonight. But I still think you bring it a little bit too early. But it takes a brave man like you to bring this topic on the air tonight. Now, where we go from here? There is no way I'm going to lay in a bed with you when you're threatening to poison me. There's no way I'm going to eat from you when you're threatening to kill me. So you're right. Where we go from here? So in the grace of good grace on the behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis, they should pack up the bundle and do what they think is best to them. If they think they could win, let it go out and do what they want to do. You know, instead of dividing the country. You got a donkey Rango DJ out there coming on the radio, want to hold the Prime Minister hostage for $96,000 or something so. Well, he want to teach people this and teach people that. And because he ain't get it, the Prime Minister is the worst. I made to understand he went over to Nevis this weekend, gone there. And he will come off the boat, went the first bar. He went by, they chased him back, he take back, jump in the bus and come back down to St. Kitts. You know, what the Prime Minister has done to this man, and all them other politicians who is following this guy, will see what he has done to the country. A multi-millionaire he is, you know. But he begging $5 when people can't eat a bread and a saltfish. And he begging $5. He come a beggar. And he's against the law. Will police them. It's against the law to beg. He's panhandling. You understand me? With all the millions of dollars he got. You understand me? I'm trying to shut down the Prime Minister. About giving $96,000. They train people to do what? You understand me? Well, you give back the money he get from the last general election. Good night, Patches. You have the best. And God bless. And God bless.
God bless you. The people's king. 19 before 10. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller. Are you there, caller? Yes. Yes, king. 19. Okay, we can't hear that caller. So perhaps let's take another one. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller. Are you there, caller?
Patches, good night.
Good night, my dear.
Patches, hold on a little bit there. What I want to sing it tonight, right? The Prime Minister said to Tom,
Turn the
he never
equipment
said,
or your radio down.
hello?
Turn the
Radio.
equipment or your radio down.
Okay. You could hear me better?
Yes, I want the whole world to hear you.
Yes. That is the Prime Minister didn't say 3 terms. He said 2. It's people who saying the good work he do, he deserve a 3rd term. And all of this rah, the lady said, you know, anyhow you see Timothy Harris stepped down, saying it's gone back where he was. People must be ungrateful. And I always remember Mr. Michael Powell, when he was with Sam, he said, ungratefulness was than witchcraft. And he used to say, touch not the Lord anointing and do his prophet no harm. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're too ungrateful. And I with the Prime Minister. Because you know why? When Tam did down in the wilderness, he bring them out. So right now, where they're going to, what happen now is we Pam people support Prime Minister Harris. Pam are too ungrateful. That's all. And they're planning to team up, to call a motion and no confidence on the Prime Minister. People, remember why it was. When Timothy Harris and Sam Kanda joined with Pam, the opposition had a lot of things to say. And they went and they formed their own party and they call themselves PLP. Anybody remember that? They had to do it. Pamela never form a next government in the same case. Never on their own. And they still can't form a government on their own in same case. It's going to be a rough this election coming up. I have nothing to lose. And I don't care what nobody say. Pam make me. I make Pam. I vote for Pam all my life. And if I see a way where the Prime Minister doing good, I cannot be ungrateful. Pam people, it's time to wake up. Anyhow, I just fall to the crack. Labour get back in. The Labour people come with a lot of stupidness and getting some people upset, but not me. I'm going to pick sense out of nonsense and I'm going to see where this country wants to go forward. And that is me. And who works there and who don't like me like I, the patches. Good night.
Good night. That sounds like my warrior from the east.
Yeah.
Be going forward.
Yeah, good night.
Who vex? That's what she said. Caller?
Good night.
You alive.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
Yes, you don't need no help. You don't need no help. And if people talking the same thing or saying whatever, these are people you just look forward to. I tell you already know them when they come. What contribution they're making. See you. Good night. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my Alice in Wonderland. We go back to the line at 14 before 10. Yes, caller? Are you there, caller?
Am I on?
Yes, you're live.
Okay, good evening, Patches. You might recognize my voice. This is Tony Ross.
Yes, I do. Good.
And
Tony Ross, QC.
I am phoning in only on one point, and that deals with the so-called Charlestown Accord and the ridiculous position being taken by people who know better, as if the prime ministership is a lollipop that children can pass around and just get a lick and a lick and a lick. I have never been on the voters list in St. Kitts until the last election. And I am saying that no group of people can go to Nevis in 2013, 2014, 2015, or whenever and determine that they are going to disenfranchise me as far as the choice of a prime minister is concerned. The concept of unity was great for the purpose for which it was intended. But let them all understand and remember what happened in Aesop's fable about the dog that was crossing the bridge with the bone. It had the bone, but it lost the bone by snapping at the reflection. Now, this point is a lot more important in my view, is one of the most important points that must be addressed. And I do not know that it can be adequately addressed, A, by one party having a convention and trying to trash Dr. Harris, or PLP having a convention and trying to trash any other. No. The unity concept has worked. And out of that, all of the leaders of the different parties should have an open debate and may the best man win. That is my contribution, Patches. I do not want to hog the line. Thank you.
Well said, my straight up family. Tony Ross, Queen's Counsel. The unity concept has worked. That answers the question, where do we go from here? Discard unity? No. Let's go back to the lines. Call it live.
Yeah, here we go from here again. Now, it's only one thing everybody want to do. I'm talking about the 3-4 leaders in the political parties. Is to get the hand on the treasury and to try to get the current Prime Minister replaced from that position there. We have to understand that's the bottom line, you know. They don't care what you talk about. But I personally would agree with other people in terms of going forward that we have room for the other sister parties, and a lot of things could happen where people will actually be the one to make the Prime Minister with the Prime Minister for the third term. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my Straight Talk family. We will discuss this Charlestown Accord, and that caller just before the last one spoke about disenfranchisement and whether you can make a decision for future voters. Let's go back to the line. Caller, you're live.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
I agree with Mr. Tony Ross. Dumpling, I agree with Mr. Tony Ross. Pam people, you better wake up. Wake up. I had it hard with Labour. And are you letting them fool, are you? Are you letting them fool, are you? I want Sean Richard, Eugene Hamilton, especially. I ain't talking about the two vagabonds. Are you come on the radio and let them people know what's going on? Are you join together with Unity, Timothy, Mark Watley, and Pam? Why this thing was going down the drain so? With all the Labour people like the Jack in the pack. Man, are you come and tell us what's really going on? Because let me tell you, if I are going on the road, it's just a steep I go and knock the jail gate and let them put all iron in the with chain. This is dumpling.
Lydia, manners, dumpling. I haven't heard you for a long time. But very, very, very important intervention. Let's know what's going on. Wake up.
Sick.
Calling to dumpling. Caller, you're live.
Namesake.
Yes, namesake.
Yes, I'm back again. Now, Patrice, I don't know what you rank with the People's Action Movement and CCM along with PLP. Because you see, this is the problem I always said. Anytime you see you got a bunch of crab in a barrel, somebody is always trying to get to the top. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis have voted for unity,
And if they cannot be, if they know that was not going to be a part of unity until there is no more unity, what is the rancor? I'm saying the country is running good. The people are satisfied with as the leader of this country for the time being. What is the fuss of sitting back and of the Labour Party folks to laugh at us? When we come, the laughing stock of Singleton. Come on, people, we got to come better than this. We can't put the Douglas get back in there, tax us from the cradle to the grave again. Give us back from the time you're born until you're dead. You got to pay back. Come on, people of Singleton, Nevis, let's get real. Unity is the best way, because under unity, people are seeing better and living better. Because what used to happen under Labour is not happening now. And it's the thing that we got to look at. Dr. Harris, where in the world you have a Prime Minister giving anybody in any country $500 a month? And the busmen them and the taximen them getting all kind of allowances. Come on, people, we need to stop cut out with this greed and allow unity to prevail and let the country run good. Dr. Harris again, because I will support Dr. Harris. I will campaign for him. You know why? Because I realize that he's a man with a heart and know how to look after poor people. The Muslims don't know how to look after poor people. They want to get rich out of poor people and then they sit back and laugh after us when we're down in the mire. People of St. Kitts and Nevis, wake up and smell the car and vote unity. Otherwise, may God help us if we got to go back to Labour. It will be the God of bitterness. God, have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. We've heard you loud and clear. I'll be asking you a couple more times before I close. Where do we go from here? Call you live. Yes, caller?
Hello?
Yes, call you live.
Yes, a pleasant good evening to you, Patches. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Well, I'm here. I'm cool. I'm good.
I can see those dimples.
Huh?
I can see those dimples.
Lord, Patches, I just called to find out one thing. I would like to know when is the election, if it's next month, is the election 2025. And 2025. I am agree with Mr. Ross 100%. Country running good. You have a pleasant night.
Thank you very much. And I think everyone will agree with you. The country is running good. What's this talk about Prime Minister? Caller, you're live. Yes, caller. Yes, you're live.
Good evening, Master.
How are you?
How are you? I'm wonderful. I'm overseas. I'm here enjoying myself. But I do have to call in because I want to endorse all those spam people who calling in and bigging up my PM, because the world there to see that my Prime Minister, your Prime Minister, the Federation Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, is doing a tremendous job, and he shall not be moved. I am 1,000,000% PLP, and I'm behind Dr. Timothy Harris 1,000,000,000%. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Indeed, Dr. Timothy Harris is a good man. He is doing a great job. Culture, and all who are calling, I want to endorse you all tonight, and what you all is saying. Dumpling, who all is calling in on the Prime Minister's behalf and bigging up the Prime Minister, I want to endorse you all as well, because the Prime Minister is doing a good job, and he shall not be moved. He shall not be moved. And I want to put this on the table tonight, Patches. I realize that anything the Prime Minister is doing, they're running and copycat. People are supposed to be innovative and do their own thing. Stop copycat and stop following the Prime Minister. You all have all kind of things to say about the Prime Minister, but you are still doing what he's doing. That means he's doing something good. Church service every week, every Sunday he goes to church. And the man have a good heart. He have a golden heart. He loves the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis love him. And whether he said 2 terms, he said 3 terms, he said 100 terms, I'm going to say long live Timothy Harris. And I wish him 100 more years in government. I hold Dr. Timothy Harris guilty of doing good for this country, and his plea is 100 more years in government. Patches, as I said, I'm overseas. I come to a funeral overseas, and I'm asking you, the Lord, to take you home safely, and may the Lord bless and keep you, and may the Lord cause His face to shine upon you and give you peace, and also may the Lord cause His face to shine on PLP, and God bless Prime Minister Harris. May God bless you. Patches, you have any question to me? Go ahead.
I almost wanted to ask you, who is overseas? But that's your personal business.
Yes, I'm overseas for a funeral here.
Okay, well, accept my sympathies. And good to hear you. And good to know that you follow straight up wherever you are. And take care of yourself.
Trying to get in so long, but somehow, like our overseas line, I wasn't getting through. But thank God, God wants the Federation to hear this. The best Prime Minister that ever touched on in St. Kitts and Nevis is Dr. Harris. We cannot, he's a God-sent Patches, and we cannot ask for a Prime Minister as good as Dr. Harris. The man is a good man. You all ease up for the man. What you all want the man to do? Take out the heart and give you all? He tried his utmost best. As a caller said earlier, the double salary that he paid in this crisis, in this time of inflation, he paid a double salary. Come on, man. Come on. What you all want the man to do? I asking if the Prime Minister is the Minister of Russia. He's the Prime Minister of Russia or Ukraine. Leave the man alone. He's doing a good job. But guess what? The Prime Minister is just ignoring the noise, and he's just doing his work, what the people have him here to do. He is ignoring the noise and just doing the work, because the Prime Minister have a lot of attributes. He have a lot of trophies, more than any other Prime Minister. Indeed, the man is doing a good job. So when people is doing good, you know, that's how black people be. You're doing good and you have a lot of critics. But Prime Minister will not step down. He will not step down. And if St. Kitts want him to be 20 more years, 100 years, if the people of the Federation want him to be Prime Minister, he will be. Patches, have a good night and get home safe.
You be safe as well. I haven't heard that song for a long time. I shall not be moved. It's the top of the hour. I'll take 2 more calls before I wrap. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller? Hello, caller? Okay. Yes, caller?
The Alpha with them and the mountain them. Yeah.
Caller, you live.
Yes, them sick. No, I just want to say, I want to thank God for a man like Dr. Harris, because he's a calm and collective man, and he don't worry about the noise. As Marsha said a while ago, we don't worry about the noise, because you can differentiate the noise from substance. So I'm saying to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, ignore the noise, hold on to substance, because the country is running good, and all I want Dr. Harris to do is to do an analysis come next year, and whenever he sees fit, ring the bell and call the election, and the people who really want to see St. Kitts stay afloat will jump on the bandwagon and vote unity again. The people who want to see it sink, they're going to jump on their ship. But I know by the grace of God, the people that are real citizens, who want us to St. Kitts stay alive and do not go back into the hands of the IMF, where we got to be suffering both naturally and collectively. Trust me, they're going to jump on the bandwagon, say we're going to keep our country floating and keep our Prime Minister hands up. Because in this time of pandemic, a man can do so much to keep a country running. We don't have to go and borrow any money from any bank or any IMF. If it was the other way around, my God, St. Kitts and Nevis would have been probably gone to dogs. But I want to say tonight, because of the capable hands of Dr. Harris our country is sailing in calm waters, and we are better than many of the Caribbean islands around us who are bigger than us. We are small, but we talawa. God bless you. Have a good night.
God bless you as well. I'll take one more call. Make this my final call for tonight. Caller, you're live.
Hi, Patrice. This is Alva Pemberton in New York City. I would personally like to endorse all the callers who are sending out their sentiments to the Prime Minister. He's doing a splendiferous and magnanimous job. There's no one can touch him because he's God sent. He's the only Prime Minister I see to dedicate times every Sunday to worship with people and meet the people. He's a people person. So no matter what they say, he's doing a good job. He's not a corrupt leader like some of the others, but he's doing a splendiferous job, and he's going to continue to do that. And like all Marsha and all the others say, we are behind the Prime Minister. If he wants 10 years, 10 terms, let him have it 10 terms, because his time is impeccable. His service is impeccable. His leadership is impeccable. No one can touch him. And therefore, there's no one who can walk in his shoes. And just like how Limo used to say, my hands are clean, he can say the same thing because he's not corrupt. And all he's doing is just good for his people. Have a good night, Patches. Stay well, and all the best for everyone that's listening. Rock and all the others. Good night to all of you. Bye.
Thank you very much. That's the way we're going to end it for tonight, my Straight Talk family. I've heard you loud and clear. I heard you, what you said. I've also asked you as well, where do we go from here? And you answered me without reservation that Prime Minister Harris is doing well. He's doing well to keep a collective of elected men from 3 distinctly different political parties, and not only one elected woman. But he did extremely well to keep this group in a state of oneness. And that is the essence of unity. It is a state of being one. Harris himself, just yesterday at the church service, confessed. He confessed that in the process of leading this collective, this bunch of elected representatives over the last 7 years, at times in doing that, he felt like this. This is what Harris confessed just yesterday.
And the anchor is Jesus. So I give my love again to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, my colleagues in cabinet and outside, my supporters and source of strength in the People's Labour Party, and the people of my constituency who have never failed me yet and deserving as I have been. I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will try always to do good and to do the best I can for you.
And this is exactly what I want to play. And this is what he said as well.
There are in fact times when I feel as a leader of the country that I am in the lion's den too. So I understand Daniel's message. My God, sent an angel, shut the mouths of the hungry lions.
Yes, it's God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the hungry lions. But you have always heard me say that my strongest weak point is mathematics. But I have learned enough to tell you tonight that unity is simply a synonym, as a way of saying, another way of saying, or a similar way of saying the number one. Yes, unity and one means the same. And the number one represents a single entity. And that is how I see unity. I've always likened team unity to a body. Just think about your own body. And I'm sure that you would agree that for your body to be healthy, all of your body parts must work together. Yes, a healthy body works together and it nourishes and edifies itself, it builds up itself. In Holy Scripture, God likened the example of what makes a healthy body to that which makes a healthy church. And we can find the analogy of what makes for a healthy body in the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, which reads, and I quote, chapter 12, verse 12. For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that body being many are one body, so also is Christ. The good book also tells us that God don't love division and strife amongst brethren. That is why he gives us that unifying tool, that unifying prescription in Psalms 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. But as I end tonight, I want to remind you, all of you, that preservation is not about self. Preservation is about people. Our stories and connections to each other, our shared past and sense of place are all embodied in unity in our homes, at work, and when we play. As a people, we must also remain mindful of the irreplaceable value of unity and what it has brought us or what it has brought into our daily lives. We must have learned over the last 7 years that we have a lot of things in common. We have a unity template, as someone put it. But you answered the question, and I asked you the question because you are the ones who created unity. You are the ones who said in 2015, and even before that this dominant party system is dead. And the majority of the people decided that it was time to put country above self. It was time to put country above party. It was time to put country above politics. And the people decided that country should be number one. That's my story for tonight, and I am not going to change it. I just want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the callers, even those who couldn't get in. Try next time. But we're going to sort things out sooner rather than later. The telephone lines and other social media as well. But we'll hear more of that in due course, my Straight Dog family. But I want to thank Albert Bradley on the console. I want to thank Bevan Wilkinson, John James, and all those who make Straight Talk possible. Without them, there is no Straight Talk. Without you, on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever social media platform, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that, I say a big, big thank you. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Just remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But you just got to believe. So when you wake up in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Dog family, you said to me, we should unite. Strive for the things that cause us to unite. God put unity together. God put us all together. God made unity as our template. And we are saying the unity concept has worked. We are not going to change it. Unity is the best way. That's what you said. So let's keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday, keep moving on, my Straight Talk family.
The views and opinions expressed by the host or presenter and by participants are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its shareholder, or its affiliates. The opinions of the on-air guests or participants are based upon information they consider reliable, but neither ZBC nor its shareholder nor its affiliates warrant their completeness or accuracy, and they should not be relied upon as such.
Yeah.